Hello, my name is Lizzie and this is Lizzie's Literary Life, and today we are doing my very first quarterly wrap up for July, August, and September of 2025. So if you watched my previous video, I talked about some of my upcoming channel things and goals and plans. And I have decided to retire tipsy wrap-ups for now. And I'm going to do quarterly wrap-ups where every 3 months, I talk about my stats for over those 3 months, my 3 best books, or maybe 2 if I don't have 3, and my 2 or 3 worst books of the month, as well as any other honorable mentions I feel like talking about in the middle. So that's what we're here to do for July, August, and September. I want to point out that I am wearing my step-by-step sweater that I made. This is my very first knitted garment project. I made a hat, and then I made this, and that's it. So I'm very proud of this. Please tell me that it looks so good, and the color is great on me, and that I did such a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you for all your compliments. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have to be tipsy to be crazy. Okay. So we're talking about July, August, and September of 2025. We're going to launch right into stats. We're going to do stats first, and then we're going to do my top 3 books of the month, and then my bottom 3 books of the month. And I don't have any honorable mentions to talk about this month because the rest of the books in the middle were just in the middle, and that's fine. So, stats. I read in those 3 months 17 books, which I definitely have read 17 books in a single month before. I think the last wrap up that I did was June of 2025, and I read at least 17 books in that single month, and then clearly I didn't in July, August, and September, but that's okay. It's all good. That was 7,328 pages. Total audiobook hours of 124.2. I spent a total of 101.52 hours reading. This is not 100% accurate because that is just the time I spent reading on the books that were finished during that time. And there was a big book that I finished at the very beginning of October, so I spent a lot of time during those months reading that book, and that's not included, but that's okay. Still pretty good. 101.52 hours spent in those 3 months. It was an average of 431 pages per book, which is a pretty long average book length, which is good for me. I spent an average of 20.24 days reading each book. That's crazy. That seems crazy to me. Oh yeah, I spent some long times on books. Okay, spent some long times on books. I was like, let me check my math there because that doesn't seem right, but it is right. My average rating was a 3.65, which is decent, not bad. Actually, I'm pretty satisfied with that, honestly. Average pages per day of 80.53, though again, that doesn't count pages that I read in books that I didn't finish during those months. And an average of an hour, and 0.1 of an hour is 6 minutes. So an hour and 6 minutes spent reading per day, again, on those books that I finished during those 3 months. My genre breakdown is as such. This is way more interesting with more books in there, more months in there. My most read top 3 genres were contemporary, fantasy, and romance, followed by some mystery thriller. I think that's 3 each. 4 each. 4 contemporary, 4 fantasy, 3 romance, 2 mystery thriller, and then 1 each of classic, memoir, nonfiction, and sci-fi dystopian. So a really wide spread of genres this month. Of those top 3 genres, my highest rated were the fantasies, on average, which is interesting to know. Age demographic-wise, I read majority adult books, of course, but only about, of course I say, that's typical for me though, only about 75%, little over 75% adult books. A few young adult and looks like 1 middle grade. So pretty typical spread for me. I've been reading more YA this year because of the Throwback Book Club, but that is what it is. Format-wise, this one was actually surprising to me. I read the majority, about 60% of my books on audio. And then the rest of them were close to an even split physical ebook, a little more physical than ebook. This is surprising to me, and also like, just because, well, I don't know if it's surprising to me, but it will be changing moving forward. Another thing I talked about in my last video was that I really want to stop listening to so many audiobooks just on the regular, because I don't like them as much. And that's just the truth. And so I don't want to be reading them because I just am not liking them. So I'm going to be trying moving forward to read one book at a time with my eyeballs. So that audio percentage should go way down in future months, which I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to a change. I love the act of listening to an audiobook, but I find I definitely don't like them as much. And my stats show that. Stats show that the physical books were the highest rated, followed by the ebooks, followed by the audiobooks at the bottom. So it is what it is. Maybe I should have put this one first, but books by month, there were 5 books in July, 6 books in August, and 6 books in September. So actually pretty evenly split. As for where I acquired these books, about little less than 75% from the library, 2 from Spotify as audiobooks, 2 that I owned, and 1 from NetGalley. So actually, still mostly the library, but not bad, not so bad on getting to the ones that I own and my NetGalley book. Ratings breakdown is as such. We have 1 1-star, which we will talk about. We had 3 5-stars, which we will talk about, and 6 4-stars. That was my most common rating. I'm actually really surprised that I have so many 4-stars and not any 3.5 stars, because I feel like typically 3.5 is a rating that I give a lot, but I guess not in the past couple months. I think the fact that there's more 4s is actually good, because a 3.5 stars for me is just like, this was a good book, but like it was fine. Like it was good fine, you know? And 4 stars means they were better than good fine. So yeah, that's good. Any other stats I want to talk about? I will show you my diversity graph. I usually haven't had, I don't know why I haven't showed this one in previous wrap-ups, but I've had it on the spreadsheet. 11.76% of these books were translated. That's 2 of them. 2 translated books. Probably 3 queer LGBTQ plus rep books. And it looks like maybe 4 authors of color. So not fantastic in terms of diversity, but honestly better than I've done sometimes. So that's a plus. My goal for the year was to keep both the queer percentages and the author of color percentages over 25. I've done that for queer, but I've not done that for authors of color, which is I'm a little bit ashamed of, but it is what it is. I really would like to read more authors of color, but it is what it is. So that's just something I want to work on moving forward. Oh, also, 29.41% of them were in series. I think that's 5 in series out of the 17. If my quick math is right, it could be 6. I don't know. I'm not actually thinking through it. Those are my stats. Beautiful. Wonderful. We love it. And onward. Maybe I should do bad books first and then end on the positive. I think that would be good. So my 3rd worst book I read this month was Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. Now, the Twilight Saga is the Throwback Book Club pick for the end of the year. The Throwback Book Club is a book club that I host with my friend Danielle from Danielle Reads, and she and I pick books that we loved as teenagers, specifically series of YA books that we loved as teenagers, and we read them as adults and discuss them. And Twilight, I had never read before, but it was like a fave of Danielle's. So it continues to be a fave of Danielle's, and I really wanted to like it. We talked about it a lot more in the live show, so if you're interested in my thoughts as they compare to Danielle's thoughts, definitely check that out. It was on Danielle's channel. I'll try to link it in the description, but Danielle will definitely be linked, so you can just go to her channel and find it. I just found this book really boring. I gave it 2.5 stars, so like not the worst book ever. There were a lot, having existed in the world in the last 10 years. I've seen a lot of stuff about Twilight and a lot of the criticisms people have. And I didn't necessarily agree with a lot of those criticisms. But what I did find was that I was extremely bored. So that's why it was 2.5 stars. I didn't think that anything interesting happened. There was no plot. There was no intrigue. There was no stakes or drama that I felt, you know? And that's that. And if you want more of my thoughts, check out the live show. But I am optimistic about the future books. I think I could actually like the rest of the books in the series potentially. Maybe. So stay tuned. We'll see. The second worst book that I read in these 3 months, in this quarter, was Romancing on Jeju by Hyunju Park, I believe, and translated by someone else whose name I don't remember. This was my NetGalley book. It was the last book. I got it as a read now on NetGalley when I was doing Herkyed and worried about the monthly releases. And it was not good. I don't know if it was the writing or the translation or both. This was translated from Korean. But the writing was so awkward. The dialogue was really stilted. A lot of things didn't really didn't really make sense. And then the plot was fine. It was very it was like a K-drama, right? Which is a thing and it's fine, but it was not what I was really expecting. All of the twists and stuff, and I just didn't feel it. I wasn't invested in it, and I didn't like it. I didn't think it was a good book. It was mostly the writing / the translation that really took me out of every single moment of it, because it just was bad consistently. And again, don't know if it would have read differently had I read it in Korean. I'm sure it would have. I don't know if the issue was there or in the translation, but could have been both, honestly. So we'll see. Or I don't know if I'll ever see. Who knows? And the worst book that I read this month, or in these 3 months, this quarter, was The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I hated this book, unfortunately. I did give it 1 star. Romancing on Jeju was 2 stars. This one I did give 1 star. I read it because it was one of Kayla from Kaylee Ray Reid's favorite books of last year. And I can sort of see why someone would have fun with it in a popcorn way. Like a popcorn thriller type of it's not great, the writing's not good, but I'm having fun. What I would say to that is yes, it was bad. The writing was not good at all. But I also was not having fun. I was extremely uncomfortable through the entire thing, which is the point. It's not supposed to be comfortable. But if I am going to be uncomfortable, if I'm going to hate the characters and it's going to explore uncomfortable topics, it needs to be written well. It's you can be written well or you can be fun. And this was neither for me. So yeah, I really hated it. I really did not like it. Very uncomfortable, writing bad, plotting bad. Twist at the end was so dumb. Just so stupid. And I didn't like it. And that's all. 1 star, I didn't like it. On the positive end, I did have 3 5 stars this month. And I am going to rank them. I wasn't going to, but I think I am, because I ranked the bottom 3 ones. That was easy because they were all different star ratings. These are all 5 stars, so they're much closer in ranking. But my third favorite book of the quarter, was The Pairing by Casey McQuiston. I have read and enjoyed all of Casey McQuiston's prior books. Even the YA one I thought was good. I think they write romance very well. I think they write queer characters very well. I think they also plot their books very well in terms of making a romance that actually has stakes and intrigue outside of, are the couple going to get together? And this book, I didn't tell you what any of these books are about. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go back. But I will tell you what this one is about. This is about a couple who was engaged, or not quite engaged, but maybe they were, I can't remember. But they were a couple. They had been together several years, and they were going to go on this food and wine tour, European food and wine tour. And they break up on the flight on the way there. And so they each get this voucher for like within 4 years, you can redeem this tour because you didn't go on the tour, right? They both individually, they're not talking, they individually both end up on the tour at the very last minute before the voucher expires together. They don't plan to be together, but they're together. And so it's just like, there's so many wonderful food and wine descriptions, and I loved that element of it. I also loved the like travel element of it. I loved seeing all of the different places and meeting all of the different characters that we meet in every different city. And I also just thought the arc of the two of them's relationship was just written so well. Like, it was so strong. It was like very engaging, and I just really liked this book. I think I don't have anything else to say about it. I just really liked it. I thought I had a great time, and I thought it was written well. And so in contrast to The Teacher, which was neither, this was both. And yeah, I really liked it. I definitely would recommend this. I read it because it was on Adriana's list of favorites from the past year. Adriana from Carbon Bonded Books. And yeah, I really liked it. And the second best book, my second favorite book I read this quarter, was Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong. And this was a pick for the Shelf This Book Club, which is hosted, facilitated by Bailey from Ms. Bailey Reading, and each month a different person picks the book, and this month it was picked by Danielle from Danielle Reads, the aforementioned Danielle, and she picked this because The Sword of Kaigan, also by M.L. Wong, is one of her favorite books of all time, or her total favorite book of all time. I did read that. I think I gave it 4 stars a couple of years ago. I thought it was okay. It was good, but I didn't love it. This I did love. I did think this book was excellent. It is about a woman who is basically testing to be part of this magic society, like upper ranks of magic school scholarship thing that no woman has ever achieved. So like that's where we start. But it really is so much more than that. She's such a complex character. We have several very complex characters that I think were written really well. And I think it's very comparable to Babel, which I also loved. But I think this might be even better than Babel in terms of, I think some of the criticisms some people have of Babel were done better in this book. And it's sort of accomplishing a similar goal in terms of like fantasy dark academia making a comment about society. That's what I think is similar about those two books. And I thought they were both very good, but this one might actually be better. So, excellent vibes, excellent writing, excellent plot, excellent book. And the best book, my favorite book that I read this quarter was Fool's Fate by Robin Hobb. This is the 3rd book in the 3rd trilogy, so the 9th overall book in the realm of the Elderlings. So I can't tell you a lot about plot, though I'm sure you've heard about these around BookTube because everyone who reads fantasy loves them. Not everyone, but you know, most people who read them love them. If they're this far in the series, they love them. I loved this. I loved it. I thought it was a good ending to the trilogy, but also made me really want to continue and read more. Because this series is like multiple connected trilogies. And so it was like, it ended the arc, but not in a way that I was like, this can be done forever. There's still a lot that I would like to know about the world building and the magic and everything. But I also feel like even for our characters, this wasn't a permanent landing spot. But I felt like it was a good landing spot to leave them for a while, if that makes sense. So I thought that book was really, really good. And I'm so excited to continue the overall Realm of the Elderlings series. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. That's my stats. That's my bottom 3. That's my top 3. This is the new wrap-up format. Let me know what you thought of it. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, or if you have any recommendations for me based on what I liked or disliked. And let me know what you think of this new wrap-up format. Do you like this better or worse than my previous monthly tipsy wrap-ups? I hope you enjoyed. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next one, coming very soon.